Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why the narcissist always needs an audience. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So there are many things the narcissist needs. One is an audience, and you were that audience when you were in the relationship with the narcissist. The narcissist needs audiences of one, of two, of three, of many. They need audiences virtually 24/7. That is why so frequently you'll catch them on their smartphones. They're getting supply from unsuspecting people all over the globe. They're on dating apps. They're on social media platforms. They're communicating by texting. They're getting supply 24/7 if possible. Now, keep in mind, the narcissist does have to go to sleep for a few hours a day. Sure. Well, even then, they probably need to make sure that they lined up enough supply to carry them through those couple hours they go to sleep. But the narcissist is always looking for an audience. When you were in the relationship with them, think about it. Let's just say it was the two of you together. Maybe you went on vacation, or maybe you're at the house or in a car. You were the one person who was providing a sounding board for the narcissist. You were the person who was listening to their rhetoric, tolerating their behavior. You were giving them feedback. Or let's say that you were going to work one day when the narcissist was driving you to work. Let's say that you did something or didn't do something and you were given the silent treatment, and on that 20-minute ride to work you felt completely horrible because your spouse or the narcissist, back then you didn't know they were a narcissist, they weren't talking to you. They were administering the silent treatment. So what was happening there? Well, you were still the audience. They were punishing you for being you. This is what they do. The narcissist needs an audience. They need people to play a role in front of. And at times it's family members, it's associates, it's people in business relationships, acquaintances, neighbors, in communities or hobby groups that you are and or were a part of. The narcissist is always on display. They're always looking to see who is paying attention to them because they need an audience. They need someone to mirror back to them that they matter and that they're valid and that they're doing everything. They're getting the supply from the people, let's put it that way. Let's think about a dinner. When you will go to dinner with the narcissist, which I mentioned frequently on the channel. Let's say you went to dinner with you and other people, let's say other couples or friend groups. Well, what would happen there? The narcissist, again, they're performing for that group. They are listening to other people, trying to extract information from them, or they are saying whatever they want to say to draw people in closer to them, because the narcissist is a hollow and a shallow creature. They are full of anxiety. They need supply to regulate themselves. How about this one? When the narcissist has a pet, do you think the pet is supply for the narcissist? You're right, the pet is supply for the narcissist on multi-levels, but one reason is because, let's say the narcissist is, there's no one around in the house for a couple days. Well, then now they have a pet that they can occupy their time with, or not, because usually the narcissist isn't the best pet owner. But having said that, this is going to give them supply because there is a living, breathing creature in the house, and it's a pet. Think about this one, same thing along the pet analogy. Let's say that they take the narcissist takes the pet out for a walk, say it's a dog. Well, what's going to happen there? Well, that's going to give them supply because they're being looked at like, wow, what a great owner. You're taking your dog out for a walk. And then people come up and say hi to the dog. Can I pet the dog, etc.? That's supply city for the narcissist. You see, the narcissist is always looking for an audience. Always. And when they vetted you and they groomed you and they met you way back when, you were the person who they laid their eyes on and said, wow, this person, which was you, they are going to be a great person to elevate me for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. I will get very close to them. Maybe even I will have them fall in love with me. I can't fall in love with them, but they don't know that. They don't even know I'm a narcissist, and they don't even know what I'm going to do to them. But I'll have this person get drawn in closer to me. And slowly and insidiously, I will remove their resources from them, which included your time, your money, your energy, your effort, your love, everything I mentioned on the channel. But you were the narcissist audience. You were the main source of supply, although you weren't the only source of supply. You may have thought that you were. Let's say that you married the narcissist. Well, you believed you were in a kind, loving, stable relationship. But once that wedding ring was on the finger, the tide shifted, the tide turned, and the narcissist began to devalue you more and more, because the ring to the narcissist, it means ownership. It does not mean commitment. It means destruction and manipulation. It doesn't mean devotion and staying together. The narcissist knew this, and that is exactly one of the reasons why they married you. Also because they looked at you as an opportunity, what you could provide for them. Would you provide children for them, a roof over their head? Would you get them access to certain social circles or networks? Would you be a good, empathetic human being? Would you be a people pleaser, a yes person? Could you be trained and groomed rather easily? These are all things the narcissist thinks about. Now, you never thought about any of these kind of things because you are a stable, kind, loving, empathetic human being. You don't manipulate, you don't lie, you don't steal, cheat, deceive, you don't throw around the smear campaign. As a matter of fact, you don't even know what the smear campaign was. Maybe right now you don't even know. Smear campaign is when the narcissist is spreading gossip or untruths about you, or painting the narrative that you're not a good human being. And I'm being very polite and kind when I say that. The narcissist administers so much punishment throughout the relationship that they break down the individual or the person or you. Eventually something has to give, because the weight of the relationship gets so cumbersome when you're in these relationships and you're doing all the work, you're doing all the heavy lifting, you're paying for the bills, you're watching your credit card bill get racked up, you're watching your health deteriorate, you're watching your social circle and your network of friends implode, you're watching your status fail, meaning you're not the person you used to be. And that's why the narcissist goes on to other sources of supply. That's why they discard people, because what the narcissist does with people is they get really close to them, they trick them and trap them into these relationships, whether they're romantic or friendships or whatever they are. And the point being, when they do that, then they use and abuse these people for as long as A, the person will tolerate it, B, as long as the person's resources are steady and they're not declining too much, or C, until this person wakes up and puts a boundary in place and perhaps one day stands up for themselves and say, hey, what's going on here? This relationship, it's not benefiting me. I'm doing all the work. You're never even around. You're texting on your phone when we're at dinner. You're late for coming home from work. You're wearing a whole different outfit now. You're wearing different clothes. This isn't the person I met. You've basically changed right in front of my eyes. Well, what's going on there specifically with the clothes is, if the narcissist that you were in a relationship with, if suddenly they got a new idea fashion-wise, red flag everywhere, left, right, and center. What it's telling you is that they have definitely found a new supply, and they are either glomming onto them or preparing to, or trying to assimilate with them. It doesn't need to be a romantic relationship. Let's just say it's outdoor wear, like certain brands of clothing. Well, if the narcissist is all of a sudden buying these kinds of things, there's a reason behind it. It's not like they went and researched the best quality of clothing and they said, oh, I'll buy that. No, somebody that caught their eye was wearing those clothes, and now they want to act like they are them, and that's exactly why they glom on. Same thing with exercise. Think about this one for a minute. I haven't mentioned this one in the past. If you were with the narcissist, and let's say that you didn't know they were a narcissist back then. Let's say you were married or in a romantic relationship with them, and all of a sudden they start hitting the gym and they're really into exercise, and they're exercising a lot. I mean, abnormally, like Olympian style exercise. That is a massive red flag. And if that resonates with you, drop comments below. Why I'm saying that is because that is a huge shift from a person who perhaps wasn't exercising when you were with them, or maybe they exercised a little bit, and now they're buying all the gear, the biking gear and all the helmets and all this stuff, or they're getting all the swimming gear or whatever they're doing. Huge red flag, because either A, somebody turned them on to those exercise groups. Let's just take biking as an example. Or B, and they're looking at that person as supply. Or B, they are trying to get in great shape because there is a different source of supply, and they're using exercise to draw the person back in. There are so many different variables as to why the narcissist does what they do, but what they do is they need an audience. They need to feel unique. They need to feel important. They need to be put high on the pedestal. They need to feel better than other people. And this is exactly how the narcissistic abusive cycle goes on and on and on. Remember, when you were before you met the narcissist, you were a kind, loving, stable, healthy individual. You didn't have the wisdom about the narcissistic abusive cycle because you weren't taught it in school, and you didn't even know that these people existed. You just thought a narcissist was somebody who looked at themselves in the mirror for 15 hours a day. Well, yeah, that's what they do also. But on top of that, the narcissist is a person who shapeshifts, who is a dark energy force and comes at you in all shapes and sizes. And they come at you throughout your life. You couldn't wrap your head around it because you didn't know what you were dealing with. But when you entered firsthand a narcissistic relationship, and you had to learn the definitions, the glossary, the terms on the narcissistic abusive cycle, that is an education that you can't pay for at any university. It's an education on the hard knocks of life. It's the education that only a person that's gone through the cycle can appreciate. It's an education that not everybody acquires. People can read the books, they can watch the videos, they can talk to a therapist, they can do whatever they want to. If they haven't experienced the narcissistic cycle firsthand, and they've had the sleepless nights, maybe even experienced the dark night of the soul, they were triangulated, they were gaslit, they were being blame shifted, they experienced rage fits, emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, financial abuse. If they didn't go through those dark days, specifically if you were discarded or if you had to end it and put yourself back together, then you don't know what you're talking about. So anyone can say, yeah, I was in a narcissistic relationship, I get it. Many people were, but they didn't know what it was. But many people can just be very careful with whom you're getting your advice from. Well, I'll put it that way. If you speak the same language as me, and you've risen through the ashes like a phoenix, and you're now galvanized in the third version of yourself, this is now a superpower for you, because you can discern in a moment or two if you want to communicate with somebody, if they're being genuine or authentic, or if they're a toxic person, you want nothing to do with them. This is a superpower. It is something that has changed you forever. Go back in time when you were in a different relationship before the narcissist, just whatever relationship you want to think about. Did you have to heal from that relationship when it ended? Of course you didn't, because it was just the ending of a average relationship. Now, from the narcissistic relationship, fast forward to that one, what did you have to do? You had to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, dust yourself off, and heal and learn and practice radical acceptance and heal childhood wounds. And you had to do so many things to put yourself back together, because nobody knocked on your door. Nobody told you what kind of relationship you were in. Many people grabbed their popcorn and watched your life implode. And again, the narcissist would never give you closure. They wouldn't out themselves and say, hey, guess what? Here's a 2-page report, read this. I got you. I took advantage of you for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, 20 years, and I manipulated you. They're never going to do that. They just slither away onto the new supply, and that's what they do. They go from person to person, business to business, city to city, town to town, country to country. And what are they looking for? They're looking for an audience. They're looking for a brand new, fresh start. That's why the narcissist moves so frequently. The narcissist needs to change things so regularly in their life. Example, let's say that you owned a car and you had to get an oil change. I'm making this up. Let's say you had to get an oil change once a year. Okay, well, that's what you do. The narcissist needs an oil change, using that example, about once every week. Understand what I'm sharing with you. They like new shiny objects. They need new relationships. They need new hearts to break. They need new wedges to drive between people and anything that matters to them, which includes their relationships, their own children, their money, their time, their hobbies, their health, anything. If the narcissist can find a way to drive a wedge between you and anything that matters, they will do it. That is why the path is to go no contact, block these people, remove them, delete them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't do it, utilize gray rock. Just become dull and boring and get off the radar of the narcissist. And yes, I understand everybody's circumstances are different and alike, but they're unique to each and every one of us. So do the best you can, but have an exit plan. If you don't have one, you really should have an exit plan if you're still in these relationships. The narcissist needs an audience. And at one point, it was you. They needed an audience of one when it was just the two of you. Let's say you were going around the globe dating, or you were traveling. Well, you were the audience, and it wasn't just you, but you thought it was you. It was the wait staff, it was the people on the airplane, it was the people at the beach, it was the people on the tours you took. The narcissist was always looking to see who was watching them, and they would try to get other people's attention, many times triangulating you when you didn't even know what that was, when you're on these vacations or wherever you were, at the dinner specifically. And the narcissist was testing you, and they were seeing if their audience of one, which was you, is catching on. Or are they going to be moldable? In other words, can I continue to lay on the gas pedal of manipulation with this person? Are they going to pass the litmus test? Can I press them as far as possible and then have them still put a wedding ring on my finger, and then I can really lay the abuse on them? And the whole time I will do this behind closed doors, or I'll do it in the general public so nobody will recognize it other than my future partner. This is how the narcissist goes through life. This is what they're doing right now with the new supply. This is what they're doing with their own children. This is what they're doing with their business associates. This is what they're doing with their friends of 10, 20, 30 years. They're taking advantage of anybody they can, but they're also playing to an audience. Remember, the narcissist is always in competition with people. They also look at people as opportunities. They look at empaths as weak. They look at people that don't know their worth or value as weak. They look at anybody who has a heart as weak. And the narcissist's one mission throughout life is to blow up as many people's lives as possible, to break as many hearts, to keep people stuck in the trauma bond as long as possible, hoping that they will never break free, hoping that they'll never figure out what the narcissist is and or was, hoping that those people will stay trapped, hoping that some of those people don't even exist, if you understand what I'm sharing with you. But the narcissist is always playing for an audience. Think about birthdays or events or barbecues. When you would go to those, what would be going on there? What would be going on is the narcissist was on their best behavior. They were catering to all the guests and anyone who would show up. They would take credit for all of your work that you did. They would act like you weren't even there, that you were the unpaid helper. In other words, you were subservient to the narcissist. They were the ones greeting people at the door. They were the ones who would be bringing the hors d'oeuvres out. They were the ones who would be taking the plates to the guests, etc. And then when the guests would go home, and the narcissist was all filled with supply for another week because they just laid on the mask to all these guests at the barbecue, what would happen? That's right. You would be the cleanup person. You would have to clean up, and you would have to tolerate the poor behavior, and you would watch them just disappear and get on their smartphone and take pictures and selfies of what a great barbecue it was, because they're getting supply from posting those pictures. And those pictures that were posted, they're a double-edged sword. They're meant for the people that were there at the barbecue to say, yeah, I was there, it was a great time, and wow, this person's amazing. I'm talking about the narcissist. They're such a great host or hostess. But also, those pictures were meant to do what? They were meant to be seen by people who weren't invited to the barbecue, because that was meant to twist the knife in those people. Like, you weren't invited, you weren't on the list. This is the audience the narcissist is playing for. The narcissist is playing for an audience left, right, and center. When they're in traffic, on a plane, on a train, in a business meeting, conducting business, when they're walking down the street with their dog, they're always looking for an audience. This is why the narcissist is a master manipulator. This is why you need to run for the hills when you identify that someone is a narcissistic individual. These people don't change, they only get worse over time. That is what the aging narcissist is. And believe me when I tell you, it's not a pretty sight to see. I'm gonna recreate a video on the aging narcissist this weekend. The narcissist cannot change. The only thing they can do is leapfrog from person to person, relationship to relationship, super gluing a new mask on their face. And why they do that is because they need a fresh new audience. You see, the older the narcissist gets, the less people are buying tickets to the show. And the older the narcissist gets, the less tricks they can pull off. The same tricks that they could pull off when they were younger, they don't work as much anymore. That's why the narcissist is an aging narcissist. But on top of that, the audience shrinks. It eventually shrivels up. And the audience that the narcissist eventually ends up playing for is an audience of one, and it's not you, it's for themselves. These people consume themselves in the end. These people don't change in the end. These people have to go over all the relationships they've blown up throughout their life, and they have to think to themselves, wow, I really did damage here, and now no one's here. Now my own kids won't talk to me. Now all the exes I had, they blocked me. Now my friends that I've had for 20 years, they've caught on to me. Now I have to move again. Now my health has taken a hit and I have no one to play for. The audience is shriveling up. This is what happens to the narcissist, and it's happening right now all over the globe. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. Understand that the narcissist needs an audience. That's why you don't accept a Hoover. That's why you block them and you go no contact. Let somebody else, unfortunately, be the audience for the narcissist. You've applied the lifelong learning lessons. You now understand you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And most of all, you understand the narcissist can't change. They never loved you back then. They don't right now, and they never will. They don't love anyone. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I loved it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day. Bye. It is a perfect day today. Really beautiful. I hope you like the background too. Bye.